I was excited when Cardi finally announced her sophomore album release after 8 years. Not because I thought it would change my life, but because I felt she was going to give us something new, a look at her life artistically. Especially with everything we've seen her go through over the years, I was expecting her to address everything in the music. Seeing her finally getting over her fear of her critics and just doing the thing. But I wasn't prepared for what was to come. I've been thinking about her a lot since the Great Stonewalls of 2025, around 78, and I just wanted to look back at her career and where we go from here, starting with the rise. Cardi B was introduced to me by a friend in early 2016 as this Insta famous comedian slash stripper slash reality TV star. Basically, she was funny, relatable, and entertaining. Watching her journey from trying to escape the strip club to genuinely pursuing music on reality TV was not a new formula. I definitely didn't see her blowing up the way she did, but there was something special about her. Some people just have that thing. The first release that stood out to me from her was Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 1. On Fleek and Forever were my shit. My friends and I used to sing this at the top of our lungs.
Now come outside, little bitch. Come outside.
We weren't fighters, so this was just good fun. But we were really excited about her. She followed this up with Gangsta Bitch Music Volume 2, which wasn't as good to me, but she was still all over my social media feed, and you could see a change and an effort to grow. It seemed she was taking the music thing seriously. She left Love and Hip Hop, signed a record deal with Atlantic Records. What I didn't expect was for her to change female rap forever. This song was massive. You couldn't go anywhere without hearing this song. It reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and she was performing everywhere. And her hot streak wasn't done. She had Finesse with Bruno Mars, Body Cardi with 21 Savage, I Like It with Bad Bunny and J Balvin, and she was proving she could do it on her own with the release of her album Invasion of Privacy. You can say whatever you want about Cardi, but you can't deny hits. And this album had hits from top to bottom. My standouts and songs that I still listen to this day are Get Up 10, Be Careful, Ring, and I Do. She really came out with a bang to rave reviews from critics and listeners. It was the perfect time to come out as a female rapper. People were tired of the old guard and wanted to listen to something new. She was breaking countless records up and down the Billboard charts. Basically, it was world domination for her. And it wasn't just chart domination, she was winning the awards too.
Cardi B! Cardi B! Invasion of Privacy!
The biggest being her Grammy for Best Rap Album. She became the first female rapper since Lauryn Hill to win Best Rap Album as a solo artist, which had its controversies, but she got it, so it is what it is. She would also get pregnant during her album cycle, and I'm going to zoom past this because we're going to return to it in a later part of the video, but this wasn't a dead sentence for her, and she kept up the momentum in 2019, revisiting collaborations with Bruno Mars, with Please Me. She had press. She was dipping her toes into the film industry with a cameo in Hustlers. She became a judge on Netflix's Rhythm and Flow. COVID derailed some of her plans, as it did with everyone, but the doll was still working. She released the mega successful WAP with my fave, Megan Thee Stallion, and that was really a moment. People were so upset about that song. It was so silly. I actually have to take a moment to thank her because this is how I found Kimberly Nicole Foster. She has a wonderful video on WAP and the spectacle of sexual liberation. It's a great video. I adore her and her commentary. Check the video out. Unfortunately, it is still applicable to this day, but that's a conversation for another day. Cardi was working and she was everywhere. But then she started to slow down and we got a hiatus. There was definitely a noticeable decline in the output, especially with her solo music. There were no talks about a new album being released, it was just singles and features. We had a solo single up in 2021. She featured on Summer Walker and Scissors No Love in 2022. She had Tomorrow 2 with Glorilla, which is still to me the best she's ever sounded on a song. Put It on the Floor with Lotto. She was even in the Baby Shark movie with her kids. And an aside, I thought this was so cute. I love when celebrities do things like this for their kids. So she was doing stuff, but time was moving and there was still no news of a new album. She released Bongos with Megan Thee Stallion, which wasn't as successful as WAP, and it did seem they were trying to rehash the success from their previous collaboration. But I thought this would be the start of a new era as it did reach number 14 on the Billboard charts. So it wasn't a complete flop. I think if this was as successful as WAP, she would have announced an album, but she cares too much about what the general public think. There was just a noticeable absence from her, and then we got the comeback. We got her first solo single in 3 years with the Like What freestyle on March 2024. She followed this up with Enough Miami, which reached the top 10 on the Hot 100. She featured on a remix of Flo Milli's Never Lose Me. She popped up at Megan Thee Stallion's Hot Girl Summer Tour. She was also on the Wannabe remix with Glorilla and Megan, but we don't talk about that remix. Honestly, I didn't enjoy anything she was doing during this time that wasn't fashion, but I still had hope. We finally got hints of the upcoming album titled Am I the Drama. She released Outside as her lead single, which has actually grown on me, and the follow-up single Imaginary Players, which I still don't like. But it did make her the female rapper with the most top 10 debuts, so success, I guess. The actual album was finally released on the 19th of September 2025 with more positive reviews than I anticipated, especially with the singles released. My personal thoughts on the album: I think it was a good follow-up. It's not groundbreaking like Invasion of Privacy, but there's a few songs I really enjoy. Pick It Up with Selena Gomez and Shower Tears with Summer Walker. I do think the album was too long. She could have cut out like 5 songs, but I think this was a solid release. The era seemed to be pretty successful for Cardi. She became the first female rapper to have her first 2 albums debut at number 1. She was out promoting the album, and all seemed to be well in the Cardi B universe. Until the drama. Cardi B's name is unfortunately synonymous with mess, which is why her album was aptly titled. And I thought it was fun, tongue-in-cheek, but with everything that's happened within the album cycle, I feel she just manifested extra nonsense into her life. I'm gonna go through a few things that happened this year. They're not in order, but we're gonna keep count and pull it together in the end. First, we're gonna start things off lightheartedly. Cardi had a civil suit brought against her by a security guard for a 2018 incident at her Obgyn's office. Initially, I was annoyed. This lady's always in court, but it actually worked in her favor. This got her a lot of positive press as she was being herself, and this reminded a lot of people why she became famous in the first place. Although she was the defendant, I think most people would agree it was silly, like 24 million for supposedly scratching this woman's face who was violating Cardi's privacy. I'm not even going to lie, I don't care if Cardi did it. I think it's disgusting stressing out people who are pregnant and violating her privacy like that. I don't like that. Violence isn't always the answer, obviously, especially for Cardi, but if she did assault this lady, I don't care. I was also slightly annoyed at the end of the trial because she assaulted someone on screen. She threw a pen at a reporter. She just has very little self-control, and sometimes it's funny, but other times, as we will discuss later, it's to her detriment. The second incident she got into with a content creator named Samira. Follow her because she's very insightful and has great commentary about fat phobia. She's an educated babe and she just makes good content. In summary, Cardi B made a joke about her fans being fat because her merch sold out. She claimed the fastest size to be sold out was 3XL and they should stay away from Chick-fil-A.
Are completely sold out, especially because you fat fucks, clearly you guys are fat as fuck. No Chick-fil-A for y'all.
Samira made a TikTok about Cardi needing to educate herself on the larger systemic issues surrounding fat phobia and why this joke was not funny and how it leads to larger societal implications.
Cardi B, I'm very surprised that I have to remind you of this, but just because someone else makes a joke doesn't mean you have to make it too. You know that, right? And also, maybe the reason why people feel so comfortable making fun of your BBL is because you do not command the respect that you so seek.
Girl, Shut the fuck up. Ah, damn, shut up already. Like, it's not that serious. Not everything is revolutionary. Not everything has to have a crazy outrage. I already did a video. I told you it's not that serious. Like, what do you want me to do? Get on my fucking knees?
Although I agree with Samira's general sentiment, I do think her tone was condescending, and I can understand why Cardi B's response was to be defensive and attack. I don't think Cardi B was trying to be nasty with the initial post, but oftentimes that's the issue. The saying is intent does not negate impact. Cardi B also has a large platform, and whether she likes it or not, she has to use it responsibly. The jokes you make around your family are not the jokes you can make to the general public. Samira also made a great observation about how people use it as just a joke, as a cop-out, even mentioning how people constantly mock Cardi B for her BBL and how she doesn't like that, but it's just a joke, and it's all linked. I do think Cardi's response to Samira was incredibly irresponsible. Samira had to take a break from social media because of all the personal attacks people were making about her and her body, and even if Cardi B didn't intend for that to happen, her reaction prompted a similar response from her fans, and this was just not a good look. I really didn't like this, and I wish she had responded better, which we will see later in this section she is capable of. If we want to have conversations about larger systemic issues, we do need to be kinder to each other and not try to gotcha the next person. I think it's important to remember why we even have these conversations in the first place. Either you're trying to be right and just win arguments, or you're trying to educate people. And that oftentimes comes with humbling yourself and speaking to people in a way that they will understand and be receptive of. I also don't want to dismiss how tiring it can be repeating what feels like common sense, but I can see why they were both annoyed with each other. The third incident. Cardi threw shots at Bia, which I get as a rapper putting your frustrations in the music, but who cares about Bia? I was annoyed at this one because why are you giving her your attention? They don't even seem to have a real issue with each other. It goes back to, you're copying me, you're subbing me, and I hate referring to people's feelings as childish, but this one just annoyed me and it was childish. I'm not even going to spend too much time on it. The fourth incident is with Offset, Offcheat, whatever we're calling him today, the root of most of her troubles. But when the devil can't reach you, he sends a man. And wow, did the devil go to work on her life. I tapped out of the drama in 2018 when he begged back for her on stage and she took him back. I just knew she was a lost cause. He has constantly cheated on her. She's literally fighting in strip clubs and getting assault charges on her records over him. And I guess to her, this is a point of pride because she wants to be known as someone you don't mess with. But she's 33 at this point, she has to grow up. And I get why in her early 20s, when the relationship started and she would behave like that, he's definitely taken advantage of her insecurities. I remember she went viral crying about it a few years ago. Maybe that was last year.
When I'm not the most confident, he likes to play games with me because he knows I'm not an easy girl. He knows yesterday I could have been out, I could have been chilling, I could have been this and that. He knows I'm in my house. He knows that I'm...
At the end of the day, we can't hate the relationship more than she does, so there isn't anything we can do but wish her well. He went on a Twitter rant about how she never mattered to him. He doesn't want her. Everybody knows this. Just how much he hates her, and it was awful to watch. I also hated how every time it seemed she had a big moment in her life, she got pregnant. Cardi's an adult, so I have to give her agency and understand her part in it. It literally takes two. But there's just something that doesn't feel right to me about that. He comes across as very jealous of her. When they got together, he was the bigger star and she was this reality star, former stripper. And I'm sure there's lots of people who told Cardi she was lucky to even be in a relationship with him. But she's grown past that, like far beyond that. I want her to go and, maybe get therapy. In my unprofessional opinion, she clearly has a lot of feelings regarding her self-worth and image. We see that with all the plastic surgery she's gotten and the way she's just allowed this man to treat her. I just wish the best for her and I hope she gets help and doesn't go back to him. He doesn't wish her well and she doesn't need him, but This one is above us. The fifth incident, her pregnancy. She's pregnant again, which feels like she's beefing with the general public, as most people are upset about this. Again, it seems whenever she has a big life moment, she pops up pregnant. Not only is she pregnant, but it's so messy. She just separated from her husband, and the father is the man she was cheating on her ex-husband with, Stefan Diggs. And on the outside, he seems like an upgrade. He's an NFL player, he has money. But if you dig deep, she's just gone from trash to trash. He has a fresh baby who was born in April of 2025, and it's been confirmed he is the father. So this pregnancy overlaps with that. It's not enough that, to me, someone who does not know this man from Adam thinks he's trash. This is what his teammates think about him.
Like to date your sister.
What the hell? Diggs.
Why Diggs?
Man. No. We're gonna leave it like that. No.
What guy on this team would you least like to date your sister?
Oh, Stefan Diggs.
Why Diggs?
He's crazy. He's just outrageous. Don't know what he's gonna say. Just don't know what to expect every day. So he couldn't date my sister.
What guy on this team would you least like to date your sister?
Least like to date my sister, Diggs. 100%.
I'm not in community with Cardi, so all I can say is I hope everything is well and she's not stressed out during this beautiful period. She did deliver a healthy baby boy, and it seems everything is fine, but people weren't happy about this, and she knew they wouldn't be, and that's definitely why she was trying to hide it, and she has been trying to get the general public to feel sympathy for her and give her a break. The sixth incident, which the fifth one leads us directly into this, is the issue she had with the Read podcast.
You waited all this goddamn time to release another album just to get pregnant in the middle of this album being done and preparing for the... Why? Why, bitch? Why? You don't know how to use your butt? You never heard of condoms? You never heard of the IUD? You never heard of the pill? You decided to get pregnant by the nigga you cheated on your husband with? Why? This is just dumb bitch shit. This is so fucking stupid. You are bringing a whole new person into the world, girl. It's not playtime. It's not that ugly ass Labubu Kid Fury just got. It's not some toy you can just toss around and it don't matter how it feel about nothing. It don't matter about its circumstances. This is a human being. I'm getting my body ready. You getting ready to go lay down and pray that mommy makeover don't kill you like it do so many other women. And
I don't think I have to explain why Cardi was upset with this. Chris Lee is one half of the podcast. She was just very mean in her delivery. I think she was saying what a lot of people were thinking, and Cardi knew this, which is why I think she reacted calmly and responded the way she did, because she wasn't only responding to Chris Lee, she was also responding to the general public. But I didn't like this. I felt like it was very mean-spirited, calling her names and saying she might die on the operating table. It's just, oof, yikes. Mind you, she's saying all of this in the name of concern. It's just nasty. I feel a lot of the things she said could have been said with a lot more tact and care, since she says she's so concerned. But so many people feel because they're on the internet, they can just say whatever they want and then cover their viciousness under the guise of concern. I'm seeing a lot of that with Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo and people talking about the weight, but I want people to remember that you guys don't know these people, and if this is how you guys talk to your loved ones, I would personally re-evaluate your approach and ask, are you concerned, or do you just want to bash and wag your finger at someone you feel is vulnerable or making bad decisions with their lives? But that's also a conversation for another day, so we can move on. The seventh incident that she was in was with Ice Spice. There's been whispers about some sort of beef between them, but I think this was only because of Ice's association with Miss Pinkwig. Nothing concrete, as they have been pictured together a few times and they seemed cordial. There was leaked audio of Cardi threatening to beat up Ice Spice, and there was also some Lotto shade. Honestly, this was just a bunch of nothing. She later clarified she was venting. She was going back and forth with Ice Spice's management. She loves Lotto and they're good. Ice Spice hasn't said anything, which I think was the right thing to do, so this was just weird, but again, just a note of Cardi and some drama. The eighth incident is her beef with JT. This one really broke my heart. I'm never happy when the family feuds. I loved Twerk and it was so nice at the time to see the girlies getting along, but we can never have nice things. JT and Cardi have had a strained relationship for a while. I think it's also important to note JT now has an issue with Cardi, Santana, Megan, and her former groupmate Young Miami. It's just not a good look for her, but that's also a conversation for another day. I've said that so many times in this video. Basically, this all started up again because Cardi was taking shots at JT on her album. They're rappers, so addressing it in the music makes sense, but then they got on Twitter going back and forth, mentioning their boyfriends, a lot of homophobic things said on both sides, and I think they both came off as like losers in this dispute. Shading each other over their men just shows how far we've fallen as a society.
Stand up! Stand up!
And both their boyfriends suck, so what are we even like arguing about? JT did release a diss track, Keep Coming, as her response, and I didn't like that. I didn't like Magnet either, so again, they both came off looking ridiculous at the end of this. Now for our ninth incident, last but not least, the beef that has divided female rap for the past 8 years. This goes all the way back to their 2018 collaboration Motorsport, where Cardi apparently felt slighted by Nicki's verse, so she requested this be changed, and Nicki felt disrespected by a newbie trying to correct him. Shoes were thrown at fashion shows, words were exchanged online and on radio. They've been going back and forth for so long, like I got my first big girl job, I got promoted, I changed jobs, I moved countries, moved back, and the girls are still fighting. This was reignited on the 28th of September, where Nicki was talking about Cardi's first week sales. I did think this was odd because why does she care? She sold more, so that should have been her last laugh. She didn't actually need to say anything, but the ladies then exchanged words, even getting to a point where they were talking about each other's children. And at this point, I think we both need to act like the other doesn't exist. There's real hatred between these two over something I feel shouldn't be so deep, but I feel this is bigger than them, and their frustrations are at other things, but they're directing their anger at each other. It's not even fun talking about their back and forth anymore. It's just sad. I don't even want to get too deep into it because to me, it's really not deep enough to be calling each other's children slurs online. Yo, Tito, your children have strayed so far from your light. It's just exhausting, and the fact that this will probably get reignited again because both of these ladies lack self-control. You couldn't tell me in 2018 that 8 years later this is where we would be. It's just a sad state of affairs. There's some other small things that have happened that I don't even care to get into. This was the longest section of the video, which says a lot, but my final thoughts: this era has been messy. Sometimes fun and most times not. I wish the best for Cardi, truly and honestly. I wanted to stop caring so much what people think of her. I wanted to live her life on her own terms, make no apologies for it, and just truly stick to her guns without feeling the need to report back to us. I don't know Cardi personally, obviously, so I can't want something for her she doesn't want to for herself. But I think she's so much better than what she's allowed herself to be dragged into, or maybe I just think too highly for her. I'm glad she was able to release this album, and hopefully she can give us more and not be scared of the critics anymore. I think her next album should be a Spanish album. She has a big Hispanic market, and I think it will allow her to be a little different without deviating from her personal image too much. That's if she still wants to continue with music, because sometimes on the album I did get the impression that there wasn't much lyrical or technical growth from her. Sometimes it just feels like she's just rapping to rap. But I'm hoping she can relax for the next few weeks. She, as I've said before, has since given birth safely to her beautiful baby boy, and hopefully she can come back next year with a bang, ready for the tour. But only time will tell, and I'll obviously be tuned in. But what did you think about this era? Did you enjoy it? Has the drama surrounding it turned you off? Just let me know what you think. And thank you so much for listening to me, and I'll see you in the next one.